friend of mine, excellent friend. We just did everything together, man.
Yeah.
And, he ended up getting drunk with his cellie, and his cellie was from San Diego, and he told him what he was in prison for, you know. And I really liked this guy too. Well, apparently he had a funny case. I won't say his case, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. They came to me and they said, "Oh, everybody go to yard." They were going to pick names out of a hat, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, no. And they brought it. I guess he went to the law library and they brought his paperwork, and everybody read it, and you know what happened. I mean, I battle with it because, I mean, we went to chow every day together. We did all this stuff together, and I was put in a position to where, man, should I tell him? But I was too scared, man. I felt like I was too scared to go, hey, man, get off the yard. But
you wanted to tell him he was going to get whacked, but
yeah, I didn't say anything, man.
Yeah.
He was waiting for me at chow too. He was like, man. And I was like, yeah, I got to talk to somebody, man. Next thing you know, the yard goes down and he almost dies over something. He was innocent. I mean, I don't even know, man. Really, to this day. But all I know is that right there changed my course, man. Because not too long after, when I got my act together.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay, so like I know they came out with some laws in California. One of them affected me as a juvenile. I was a juvenile offender. I got busted when I was 17, and then they raised it up to age like 19 or 23 or something. So if you went to prison basically as a younger guy, you got a little action on getting out. So that kind of stuff affected you. Did that affect you? Is that part of the reason why you got out?
Yeah, and that's funny you asked that, Mitch, because the first time I went to the parole board, I got a 5-year denial.
Yeah.
And they used all those past 115s
right
as like their reason, man. I remember what he said. Can I say his name? Anderson?
The board member?
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah, Arthur Anderson, man. He gave me a 5-year denial, man. He said, "What?" He goes, "What did we all get from this hearing today? That Mr. Thompson needs more time to think about why he did what he did."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" And then he goes, "Give him a 3-year denial, a 5-year denial, or what was it, 15?"
Yeah, it goes up to 15. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave me a 5-year denial, man. I walked out of there, man, and I had to call my wife.
And so the bottom line for people that don't know, if you have a term to life sentence in California, you have to go in front of a parole board, and that denial is come back in 5 years or come back in 7 years for your next shot at getting a release date, being found suitable for parole. So what you're telling me is that all the shit you did prior to that board hearing, they were holding you accountable for.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Dumb 115s too. Stupid 115s that could have been avoided,
Like, but I'm not tattoos.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying that would have changed me or anything, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
how did that feel, when you got some guy there in a suit and tie, a lot of them board members come out of law enforcement, and they're kind of digging your ass a little bit verbally, man. And how did that feel, this guy getting in your shit about the things you did while you were in prison, and I imagine about your case, I mean, how did that feel?
I felt this big when I left that hearing, man. I felt like, man, what's the use? Because they look at 5 years as like, okay, 5 years. Yeah. We look at like 5 years, like a year.
Yeah, they look at it like it's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, so I remember that feeling, man, and I think what people need to know also is not only do you have to go in front of a board member, but you have to go in front of a forensic psychologist for a 3-hour mental breakdown of your life and
an evaluation.
Yeah, Smiley.
Right.
So It's not like we, we worked to get out of prison.
Right.
They didn't hand us a date. We went in front of like 33-year highway patrol retired people, man. The law enforcement that sit here and break your whole life down.
So after that hearing, I mean, so what are some of the other things you did when you're, I mean, did you learn some vocational training, you take some classes, or what turned that around after that 5-year denial? I mean, obviously they swayed the board to let you out. So, I mean, what are some of the things you did, and what's the mindset you had that allowed you to do that? I mean, after that hearing, did you realize that, hey, that some of the things they said to you were right?
Yeah, yeah, because I asked myself that too about that denial and stuff, and I knew that I knew I had to do more. And what I did is I came back and I waited for my transcripts, and I read my transcripts for like a week and broke down everything that he was saying, and every question that he brought up during that hearing, I had an answer for the second hearing.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like. They said this is what it breaks down going to the board. It's almost like a lawyer preparing a brief.
Yeah. I mean, so what I'm saying is, like, did you learn some vocational training?
Yeah.
So I mean,
I got certified in electrical, residential electrical. I got certified in vocational upholstery.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of groups. I did some college too in drug and alcohol counseling. I stayed busy. I kept going to school, and every time that there was an opportunity to get behind a computer, that's what I was doing. I was learning how to type. I was rewiring my mind from all that crap back in the day. They diagnosed me with PTSD and antisocial personality disorder.
Right.
Forever. But, I don't look at it like that. I look at it like, now I got stuff to do. Now I have a plan. You know what I mean?
Right.
Finally, like you.
So you had a game plan after that board hearing.
Yeah, I went in, and thanks to my wife, she pushed me, and it was just a blessing, man, because I don't know if anybody, you know the story of Scott Butnick?
Whatever.
Well, yeah, I know, but that what's it called? Recidivism?
The anti-recidivism coalition or something.
Yeah. Their supporters put a bunch of money into getting that Senate Bill 261 passed,
right.
Which ended up helping me, which now I was a juvenile
right.
at the time of my crime. So they extended that age, which, man, I went back to board, and it all worked out, man. And here I am 2 years later, just loving life, enjoying life.
So you held yourself accountable for your actions after that board hearing, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the second one, I didn't even know it was Arthur Anderson. It was Arthur Anderson again. I had him again. I walk in there, and I see his face pop over the computer, and I say, here we go.
Yeah.
But, I brought my paintings in. I did all these breakdowns of my life and just these timelines. And I went and got some tape. I hooked them all up and just left them in there at recess. I go, this is what I do now. I don't do this no more. This is what I do now. But I brought samples for them to see,
Right. Okay, so you're originally from San Diego. So when you got released to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, how was that? I mean, going to it totally. And so were you in like transitional housing, or tell me a little bit about that experience. I mean,
yeah, I was down
for you,
Yeah, I was down in I paroled to Whittier at a house called. Can I name the house or no?
It doesn't matter.
Well, it was Catholic Rainbow Outreach.
Right.
And then my parole officer came and pulled us out of there. Me and my roommate, he was a lifer too, and I ended up going to Phoenix Empowerment in Downey, California. Man, good. I graduated there after 9 months of taking the bus.
All right. So what was that like, though? I mean, you first get out of prison. how many guys are living in them transitional houses?
Between 8 and 10.
All right, so here you are, all these guys been in prison, right? You're out, you know, I'm sure you got some family and all that. You got your wife and all that. But I mean, here you are out in the world. You go from a teenager, basically, now you're a grown man. What was that like? You know, I mean,
Yeah, and that's funny. I tell people that too, sometimes I have to remind them like some people expect me to know something that maybe I should, but I tell them, man, I just started life out of 48, man. I'm trying to learn the ropes, man. I'm trying to just learn things. But that experience was, I remember I rode my bike from Whittier to 5th and Broadway, downtown LA.
right.
And it was just so beautiful, man. I'm telling you, I enjoyed it. It was like 17 miles or something like that. I rode my bike down there just by myself and just looked at buildings, man. And just, got a Starbucks,
Yeah.
I would be lying and I live like that every day now, man. Like every day is a gift.
So did you have
for
like a
us,
blackout period where you had to stay in that place without, you couldn't get a phone or any of that kind of stuff, or were you just allowed to just take off right off the gate?
Yeah, we were allowed to take off right out the gate because we were lifers.
All right. So how long did it take you to like get your license, your job, all that kind of stuff? Was that stuff challenging for you, or?
Yeah. I wish someone would have told me to get my social security card and my ID before I got out. That's very good. If anybody has family members in there, let them know that. But yeah, it took me like 3 months, man. So I had like a down period of 3 months. But however, I had a friend who was allowed me to work with him, and I was getting paid like $500 under the table a week. So I saved that up. I just kept saving that money up, man. $500 was a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
I went from prison making 33 cents, and it's like 33 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, I went to school. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for that break. I'm working now. It's through a staffing agency, but I'm staying busy.
Right.
I don't like the idea of giving someone else my money to work, but it just seems like that's where I'm at. No one wants to go, hey man, can we help you? Or you have to fight, man. So
Right.
I've been working through them for 2 years, man, and I like I said, I'm just happy to be free.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just happy to be free, man. I don't care if I ride a bus.
So, you've been out for a couple of years now. You got any advice you'd like to give, or any statements, like anything you'd like to say to like people watching this about anything,
Man, yeah, man. How do you sum that up? I guess the only way to sum that whole my existence up to 48 years old is, tragedies. It seemed like my childhood growing up was looking out windows, and then adulthood, it was looking out bars. And now it's like I got rid of all that. I found healthy coping skills. As a kid, I didn't have coping skills. Drugs were my coping skill. Once I stopped using in 2004, I started to get serious. And I started to approach things like I would say I'm going to do something, right? Like I wouldn't do it, or I put it off. Now I do it intentionally. You have to be intentional with everything you do, like whether you're saving money, build your credit, get a Harley, a car. You have to be intentional to come up with a plan. If you don't have a plan, everything falls apart. So that's what I would say. Be ready for anything and plan, man. And enjoy freedom, man, because once your freedom gets taken, that's when it's a road, man. We learned in the school of hard knocks, man, and I know your heart, man, and I love you, man. It's just I honestly, I never would have thought we would have been here talking when I left you at Corcoran. Now look at us, man. We used to talk about riding Harleys, man. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's good to see you, man. I'm gonna come out and see you.
Well, I'm glad you're free, man. I'm glad you're enjoying your life, and I'm glad you're you're holding yourself accountable for your actions, and you're making a life for yourself out here in the world, Matt. And I hope somebody can glean a little bit of info from this interview with you. And I want to thank you for coming on my channel with me. And
Thank
enjoy
you
your life and
again,
ride
Mitch.
safe down there. What's that?
Yeah, yeah, you too, Smiley. Keep in touch. I'm gonna be ordering a couple T-shirts.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Take care, Matt. You have a good day, a good evening.
man.